Hello, welcome to Strong Flow Vinyasa Yoga. And today we're going to prepare the body to move and go into some bow pose. And we'll do some prep work for that before we get there. So, that being said, let's go ahead and start on our belly. Actually, let's start in child pose. Child pose. So, you can always bring in a knee cushion here, a folded blanket, bath towel, pillow, whatever it is you need. Your knees can be together as wide as the mat or somewhere in between. You can make the big toes touch or not. You can have your arms long in front of you. If your shoulders are not ready for that yet, you can always just take the hands back by the ankles, letting shoulders release. Forehead is going to come to a block or the floor or folded blanket, whatever it is you have. And just settle in here. Remember, the hips don't have to touch the heels. Mine don't. You just do what you can do. Now, as you're here, as you begin to gently start to sink into your child pose, could you bring awareness to the body? So even here, could you soften a little bit more? So if you're gripping through the hips, maybe you need to lift up just a little bit and then take that back. Maybe arms need to reach forward and then come back and then come back forward. Would it help you if you took the forehead that's on a prop or the floor and just rock that gently from side to side? And then from here, once you're ready, could you create an intention for your practice? What would you like to give or receive from this practice this morning? Mine is gratitude, as everything seems to be falling into place. And then as you're here, could you start to make this child's pose a little bit more active, zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel, breathing through that rib cage. And then once you're ready, good, we're going to come up from here. Come all the way forward to how it feels to you, which might not be what I'm doing right now, but just find a release that would feel good to your body. Good. And then we'll take that back. So, but don't go all the way back. We're going to stretch here. So I'm going to walk my hands over towards my right. And as I come to my right, I'm going to let my left fingertips come forward. I'm going to lift my hips. I'm going to shift my hips to the left and push into the right hand. So I'm getting a nice left side body stretch, especially under that left armpit and around that rib cage. If you expand that breath, that rib cage on the breath, you might find yourself into a little bit of a deeper stretch there. And then from here, we'll come up. We'll take that back to center. Good. Half or full child's pose here to reset. And then when you're ready, good, we're going to lift a little bit. We're going to walk the hands over to the left. Good. Right hand is going to come forward. Lift the hips, press into the left, sink towards the right. Breathe and expand. And then when you're ready, we'll come back up, coming back to center, half or full child's pose here. When you're ready, we're going to come up here again. If you need to come all the way forward, just to kind of lengthen that out a little bit, then do so. We're going to find ourselves into tabletop here, tabletop. So spreading the fingers nice and wide, rooting through the knuckles of pinky, pointer, and thumb. Knees can be hip width apart or slightly wider if you've got a low back issue today. And let's take the tops of the feet down. I'm pushing that floor away from me. My spine is long, my belly button is in. As I inhale, I'm going to take that chest forward, tipping the pelvis back, nice cow pose. Exhale, I'm going to really press away from the floor as I round the spine, looking towards my knees. Mad cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Now you can stay with this one, or I'm going to give you two other options. Semicircle cat-cow. Inhaling on the cow. As you exhale, round, sink towards one hip, move through center, roll into that cow on the other side in opposite direction. Good, so that's option two. Option three, dynamic cat-cow flow. It's a little bit more upper body intensive, but we inhale on the cow. Exhale as we round, pressing back, little child pose. Inhale, forearms drop, shifting forward. Baby push up, right into cow pose. So take a few moments here, explore yours. You can stay with the basics. You can do dynamic cat-cow flow, which is what I'm doing right now. You can do the semicircle. You can do a combination of two of them or a medley of all three of them. Move to the rhythm of your breath and your body. If it's feeling good to you and you're breathing well, then you're probably doing it right. So just find what you need. Might not be what I'm doing, but you can find what you need. And then when you're ready, good, we'll find one more little child pose here of your choice. Reaching. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back to up to all fours. So one more little prep here. We're going to take this into a thread the needle. Thread the needle. So make sure your hips are over the knees. Good. I'm going to take my right arm up. Belly button is in. I'm going to rotate as I take this through. Good. Again, the top of the head that comes down, not the ear. Good. Use that left hand and shoulder pressing into the mat to help support you here. If your ear is touching the floor in any way, you have a crink in the neck. You want a long line from crown to tail. And pressing up and coming back. Good. From here. And we'll lift. And we'll take that through. Good. Top of the head down. And it's okay to move that supporting hand out to the side if you need it. Ear does not touch the floor. Belly button is in. I also feel like I get a little bit of a better stretch if I'm using this, a little bit of pressure here, than if I'm just collapsing through the neck. So I'm going to press through, and I'm going to come back up. One little cat-cow here to reset the spine. And we're going to come right into our downward facing dog. So if you're taller, take a half a hand twist forward. If you're shorter like me, you can stay where you are. I'm going to tuck the toes. I'm still rooting through the knuckles of the pinky, pointer, and thumb. I'm going to press in and forward into my mat as I shift my hips back. As I lift my knees, I'm going to lift my hips up towards the ceiling. Good. Now from here, checking in. Hips, knees, and toes are tracking in relative alignment. It doesn't have to be perfect, but relative alignment. Pressing evenly into big toe and pinky toe mounds of both feet. As I still press in and forward into the mat, I'm going to turn my elbows forward so I get a little bit more scapular stability here. My shoulders are away from my ears. My head and neck are free. My ears are by my biceps. Now from here, you can stay. You can bend the knees and lengthen. The deeper you bend, the harder you make it. You can walk the dog. You can lift both heels and lower. Find what feels good to you. So again, shoulders are away from the ears. Elbows are turning forward. Good. And you should feel that engagement right around the armpits. Right around that upper rib cage. Good. From down dog, when you're ready, inhale, look forward, bend the knees and pause. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Get into all four corners of the feet. Let the knees bend here. Let the head and neck take yes. Let the head and neck take no. If it would feel good to you to grab opposite elbows, just a little bit more traction down the spine. Take that. And this feels so good in my back. And when you're ready, we're going to release. Good. Inhale, flat back. So fingers can come to the floor, the shins or the thighs here. Well, nice long spine. Knees can always be bent here. Exhale, little fold. We're going to do that again. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, root through the feet, engage the glutes. Long spine as you rise. Make the legs take the load. Exhale, hands to heart center. Finding breath, mountain, intention. Let's take a field trip to the top of the mat. Good. Now as we begin to flow, I've got a block on each end of my mat. That's just for my teaching. You can certainly have your blocks if you're using them towards the front of your mat. That part's not a problem. But from here, big inhale and we reach. Exhale and we'll fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, we'll bow. Inhale, plant the hands. Step back into a plank pose. Hold that plank pose. Could you find a little bit more length? So make sure your booty's not up here. That's not a plank. Hanging down here is not a plank. That's a dangerous way to practice. Find the length. Lower the knees if you need to. Push the floor away. This is not a good way to practice plank. Press away. Good. Knees are going to lower. Elbows turn forward. Control it. Try not to collapse the shoulders as you come down. Good. Rolling shoulders back. Inhale, find a baby cobra, a medium cobra, or a high cobra. Lowering back down. Inhale, tuck the toes. Push up into the plank. Shift back down dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, roll bow. Inhale, root, engage, and rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Finding breath. Mountain, intention. Inhale and we'll lift. Exhale and we'll fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale and we'll bow. Inhale, plant the hands. Step or hop back to your plank. You choose hang out here, down dog or child's pose, or maybe flow with me halfway down, pressing up dog. You can always modify coming down to the knees, especially if you're not strong enough to keep the shoulders away from the ears. From down dog, inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, root, engage, and rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Finding breath, mountain, intention. One more. Inhale and we'll reach. Exhale and we'll fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, we'll back. Inhale, plant the hands. Step or hop back to plank. You choose. Take or skip a flow. From the down dog, inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Walk, step or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, roll back. Inhale, root, engage, and rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Finding breath, mountain, intention. All right, how do we feel? Feel good? Let's take that and add on to that flow. This is going to include warrior 2, triangle, and extended side angle, but not quite in that order. Big inhale and we'll reach. Exhale and we'll fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, bow. Inhale, step or hop back to plank. You choose. Take or skip the flow. I'm going to skip this flow. Come back to your good down dog form. From here, left leg's going to lift 3-point, bending that knee. Round the spine if you can as you step or pick up and put that foot forward between the hands. And just find a little bit of length here for a moment. You can ground that knee if you need to, but really press through that heel. Lengthen the spine. Good. Get into that front heel. Knee is over the ankle. From here, when you're ready, warrior prep the back foot. So hip, knee, and toe, we're going to turn at about 45-ish degrees. Heel to heel, heel to arch, or this leg can be a little bit wider. Pressing into both feet. Get into the back edge of the back foot. Rise with stability, and we'll open up into warrior two. Now let's perfect that warrior two. Front hip's going to come back. Back hip will come forward. Hip, knee, and toe track. Forward knee tracks towards the pinky toe. Good. Hips are at an angle here. I'm going to leave them there as I open the torso only to the side. I'm pressing through the back edge of the back foot. I'm breathing. Nice, strong warrior two. Where can you find your strength today to get through this day, get through this practice? Is it in your feet? Is it in your legs? Is it in your soul? Find it. From here, with a bent front knee or a lengthened front leg, which is what I'm going to choose, take it back, find it exalted. If you are an arm wrapper or binder here, find what you like. When you're ready, good, we'll release. Finding your warrior two. Watch that front knee alignment. Good. From here, when you're ready, pressing through the back leg, finding extended side angle. So from here, I'm going to lengthen. I'm going to lengthen. I'm trying not to change the angle of this knee much. I'm going to lengthen. When I can come no more, you can take a forearm to the thigh, opening up here. You can take a block outside of the foot at any height is easier than on the inside. I'm going to practice inside today. You can also take that hand down to the floor, find what you need. Good. So if your hand is on the floor on a block, could you press the arm and leg into each other? Really opening up. Could you stack the shoulders even here? Maybe reaching overhead, finding just a little bit more length. Reaching. Belly button is in. We've still got our breath. We've still got our intention. With a bent knee or a long leg, looking down at that front foot, I'm going to take a long leg. We'll come back. Exalted variation. And then from here, coming back up. So I'm going to take this into triangle. If you need to shorten or widen your stance, do so. Otherwise, front hip's going to come back hip's going to come forward. I'm rooting the feet into the mat like I'm trying to rip my mat apart. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. When you can come no more, take a thigh, take a shin, take a block the floor. Again, outside is easier than inside. And we'll open up. From here, consider a stacking of the shoulders. Stacking of the shoulders, front hip is back. Actually, I may not need to be quite that high. And again, you can play with taking that arm up overhead. When you're ready, my arm's going to come back up. I'm going to look down at that front foot. I'm going to put a bend in that front knee as I come up. Good. I want my best warrior two to happen right here. So I'm reconnecting with all of those points. Front hip is back. Torso turns, not the hips. Strong through the back edge of the back foot. When I'm ready, inhale, exhale, cartwheel that down. Good. Swivel up the back foot. Front foot steps back. Take or skip a flow. And then once you've made it to your down dog, if you took the flow, go ahead and bring your knees down to the floor and come to the belly. We're going to take a locust variation here. So I am always too far forward. All right, taking those arms forward. Palms can face each other or the ground. You choose what works for you. Belly button is in nice and tight. So a few things you can do here. You can reach and just lift the lower. You can just lift the upper, or you can lift the upper and lower together. Belly button is in. I'm reaching from my fingers to my feet, but I'm not pointing my feet so much that I get a foot cramp. And then I'll take that down. I'm going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Hands under the shoulder. Make your way back to your downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Check in with that good down dog form. And when you're ready, good, we're going to take that whole series to the other side. Now my right leg is going to lift 3-point. I'm going to bend the knee. I'm going to round, step, or pick up and put that right foot forward between the hands. I'm just going to take a moment here and just find some length. Just find some length. Get some strong into my feet. When you're ready, good. Warrior prepping the back foot. Hip, knee, and toe will turn out. Finding the alignment, and it might not be the same on the side. But heel to heel, heel to arch, or take this leg out a little bit wider. Be strong and stable as you rise. Good. Coming into warrior two. Front hip's going to come back. Good. Chest is going to open. And I'm going to reach. Hip, knee, and toe track. Knee track towards pinky toe. I'm pressing through the back edge of the back foot. Remember, that's more important than having a bent front knee, so lengthen that front knee if that helps. With a bent knee or a long leg, we're going to take it back into exalted. If you did an arm bind or an arm wrap at this point on the other side, find something similar here. I can almost touch my fingers on the side, scarf from on the other side. And then when you're ready, good, we'll release. Finding warrior two. Finding extended side angle here, so really press to the side, lengthen, 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 lengthen. Get into the heels. Try not to change the angle of your knee as you come forward. Forearm can come to the thigh, hand can come to the block or to the floor. Remember, inside is a little bit more challenging than outside. Find your level. Press the arm and leg into each other if you're down there. Maybe reaching over the ear. Reaching. Coming back up. Looking down at that front foot, lengthening that front leg or keeping it bent. Taking it back. Exalted variation. And then coming back up. Good. Going into triangle here. Front hip's going to come back hip's going to come forward. Root in those feet. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. This is not a forward fold. Spine stays long. When you can't come anymore, take a thigh, take a chin, take a block, take the floor. Opening up. Stacking those shoulders. There we go. I don't need the block on this side. I always teach and practice with blocks. Sometimes I don't need them at all. Sometimes I need them for everything. You just never know what you might need, what your body needs. And one side's always different than the other. Morning practice, afternoon practice, evening practices are all different. Looking down at that front foot, putting a bend in that front knee. Good. Finding your warrior two. When you're ready, we're going to cartwheel that down. Swivel up the back foot, front foot steps back. You choose, take or skip a flow. Good. Once you've made it to your down dog, we're going to drop those knees again, coming back on the belly again. Good. So a second locust variation. Arms are going to come back towards the hips. Palms can be up, down, or facing the hips. That's your personal preference. And then from here, everything is the same as it was before. Zipping up the front body, you can just do the lower. You can just do the upper, or upper and lower together. Belly button is always in here. And remember on these, it's not about how high you come up. You go to where your body can go without crunching the back. If the back feels like it's crunching, then it is crunching. Very easy to tell. And then we'll take that down. Good. Hands under the shoulders. Make your way back to a child pose. Child pose. Breathe. Reconnect with your intention. And then once you're ready, good. Find your way back to your downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. And from down dog, inhale, look forward, bend the knees. walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, roll bow. Inhale, root through the feet, engage the glutes, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Finding breath, mountain, intention. Right. We're going to take this all into a sun salute B. Sun salute B variation will include a humble warrior today, So feet together or hip width apart. If you're following me, newer, or have a back issue, arms can come up, sit back into that chair pose. Spine is long, get into the heels, get into the glutes. Now, those of you that want a little bit more challenge here, maybe you take it down into here. Ooh, how low can you go in good form? Heels stay grounded in here. Inhale, exhale, and roll bow. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, and roll fold. Inhale, step or hop back to planks. You choose, take or skip a flow. I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to practice good down dog form. From that down dog, left leg's going to lift 3-point, bending that knee. Round the spine if you can, as you step or pick up and put that foot forward between the hands. Find your link. Warrior prep. Find it where you need it. Rise with power and strength, finding warrior one. Front hip comes back. Zip up that front body. Hip, knee, and toe still track. Knee still track towards pinky toe. Still pressing through the outer edge of that back foot. Maybe you want to open up that heart to something new today. A new thought, new pose, new hobby, new food. Coming back up. And we're going to reach and lengthen. Taking hands on the inside of that foot, walking hands out about 45-ish degrees. So upper body is down dog, lower body is warrior, if you want to think about it from that perspective. Some of you will stay here. You might choose to sit back. You can keep hands on blocks. You can put forearms on blocks or to the floor. Find yours. Watch your knees here, though. Sometimes they can get squeaky. Any funny business in those knees, come out. Belly button is in. I'm still trying to find a little length in the torso here. And coming back up, walking those hands back around, swiveling up the back foot, front foot steps back. You choose, take or skip a flow. From here, other side. Right leg lifts 3 points, bending the knee, around, step or pick up and put that foot forward. Good. Find your length, warrior prep. Find your power and strength as you rise, warrior one. Front hip will come back. Good. Zip up that front body, strong to the back edge of the back leg. Again, maybe you can open your heart up to something else. We don't have to just do one thing. We can open our heart to many things. And we'll come up and we'll lengthen as we take our path back to the floor. Hands on the inside of that foot. Good. Walking those hands out 45-ish degrees. Good. You can stay here. You can shift back. Forearms can come down. Walk through to the floor. Again, watch those knees. Find the breath. Belly button is in. Long torso. Lots of things happening at one time. And when you're ready, we'll come back up. Walking those hands back around. Swiveling up the back foot. Front foot steps back. You choose, take or skip a flow. And from that downward facing dog, when you're ready, inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, roll back. And we'll sit back into the chair. Finishing this series the way that we started it. Maybe gentle, maybe a little bit more challenging. Find yours. Inhale, pressing all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Finding breath, mountain, intention. All right, let's come into Prasarita. We'll do a few things there. So I'm going to come wide here. Now, I'm not going to use my block today for the center, but if you need that, please feel free to do so. I'm going to scoot back just a little bit here. So you want your feet to at least be as wide, ankles and wrists in that alignment. Some of you are more flexible. You might be able to come out a little bit wider. Others, maybe not so much. So find yours, pressing through the outer edges of the feet. Feet are parallel to short edges in that, and your toes are in alignment, so one foot's not forward of the other. From here, big inhale and reach. Exhale, we'll take that down. Hands coming to the floor. If this is enough of a stretch or a place for you, you can stay, or you can choose to take your arms forward, shifting hips back. You can do what I'm going to choose to do, taking my hands behind me and through. Breathing, my spine is long, my head and neck are free. I'm pressing through the outer edges of the feet, so I'm not collapsing into the inner arches. My shoulders are away from the ears. And from here, coming back, wide-legged table. Couple ways to come out of here. You can walk the hands back up the legs or pressing through the outer edges and coming all the way up. Good. Hips, knees, and toes are going to turn out away from the body. Good. And then from here, before we go to a little bit of movement, take your hands forward, just like that. You can take them here. You can press away, doesn't matter. Just take them forward and round. Take them forward and round. Getting a little bit of a shoulder blade stretch here. Good, and release. Good. Sunrise flow, big inhale, exhale, and take it down. Good. So you're still pressing to the outer edges of the feet. Knees are still tracking towards the pinky toe side. So if you're practicing like this, you need a smaller stance or a wider stance so you can be open like this. Practicing with knees falling in is a painful way to practice and put you at risk for injury. Now let's reverse that, taking that down. One more. Good, and coming back. Let's take this into a vitality wheel. We'll change this up periodically, so this is a mind exercise as well. Good, I'm gonna start coming over to my left, moving up in circle. I'm just gonna keep circling in this direction. Good. As I come to the left, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna move over to the right. Here we go, other direction. Good, now let's really switch that up. Pause, and reverse, and reverse. And if you're not really sure what you're doing, but you're moving, you're doing it okay. And again. Nice big breath. Coming back to the left where we started, coming all the way back up. Good. From here, hips, knees, and toes are going to turn back in. Last prasarita here. I'm going to encourage you to take your hands behind. You can clasp. You can press down. You can roll back and lift. Find it where you're going to find it, pressing into the outer edges of the feet. Find your fold. Find your length, shoulders away from the ears. And so pressing to the outer edges of the feet here. Breathing. From here, pressing through those outer edges of the feet, reaching through those arms and hands, coming all the way back up and release. You can heel toe those feet in, step or hop together. Let's take a flow down to the floor, So big inhale and we'll reach. Exhale and we'll fold. That feels good after the prasarita. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale and we'll back. Inhale, planting the hands. Step or hop back to plank. You choose to take or skip the last flow of this little class. And from down dog when you're ready, dropping those knees. And we're going to come back to the belly. So now we're going to make our way into full bow pose. So we've prepped the shoulders, we've prepped the back. Now we're going to prep the quads here before we take that in. So I'm going to bend the back knee, because this is my right knee. And I'm gonna reach back and I'm gonna grab my foot, ankle, toe, pants, whatever it is you can reach back here. And for some of you, this might be the end of the road today, and that's okay. Those of you that are able to move on from here, good. Reach from the hip to the knee. So you're just finding a little bit more length. You're going to feel a little bit of a stretch too. If that feels okay and you still want to move on, good. Squeeze the right glutes. Lift the right foot straight up to the ceiling, rolling the right shoulder back. So you want that knee to be more in midline, so we don't want it to be out here. We want it to be in here. If you focus on squeezing the glute and lifting the foot straight up, instead of pressing hand and foot into each other with all your might, it's going to feel better to your back. And when you're ready, we'll release with control. And we'll take that to the other side. Left leg bend. You can stay here. You can reach back and grab. Good. And don't feel bad if you can't move on to some of these other things. You have to start somewhere. And there's a reason why I do things in steps, because people need steps. Good. From here, you can reach from hip to knee. Good. Or squeezing that left glute, lifting the left foot straight up to the ceiling, rolling right shoulder back. Find it. So these are called half bows. And then we'll take that down. Good. Hands under the shoulders, press back real quick, child pose. And then from here, we're going to take this into full bow. So if you know what full bow is and you know that you can't do both feet at the same time, go back and just do one at a time. You can always just use this as a break time as well. But if you're going to do the full bow with me, good. We'll bend those knees. We'll reach back. We'll grab those feet. Good. Knees are in towards midline again, rolling shoulders back. Now from here, I've got my knees bent, but I'm not in any kind of extension. So my spine is long. For those of you that want to take this into extension, belly button is in nice and tight. Again, squeezing the glute, lifting the feet straight up, and rolling up. Now, once you've mastered this, you can play, you can rock. Good. You can do the one that took me a while to master, rocking to one side. This is all core work, going through center, and then the other side. So feel free to play a wacky Wednesday here. And then when you're ready, release, always releasing with control. Hands under the shoulders, press back, child pose. Let it be a rounding child pose here if you can. Counter that extension with some good flexion. And then when you're ready, good, we're going to come to a seat. So from the seat, we're going to take our legs long in front of us. Actually, I will do it this way. Good. Legs will come long in front of you. Good. Move the flesh out of the way of the sit bone, finding a nice anterior tilt of the pelvis. So tailbone is going to rock back that way. Your hip bones are going to rock forward. You're in an anterior tilt. Good. These knees can be bent a little bit or supported if you need that. Watch your feet. If you have this tendency for the feet to kind of curl inward here, could you make them flat like they're standing on a wall in front of you? And then from here, big inhale and reach. Exhale, long spine first. And then once you're here, then roll. Breathe and expand into that back body. When you're ready, good. We're going to come back up. Good. So from here, I'm going to prep you through cradle prep and cradle. So what I'm going to have you do here is I'm going to keep my right leg long. Good. I'm going to take my left ankle right above that knee. So not on the knee, but right above the knee. Good. I'm going to take my hands behind me. So this has to feel good here. If this doesn't feel good here to the knee or the hip, the rest of it's not going to feel good either. So be mindful as to where you need to be. If this is not for you today, start down here, start at the very, very basic, and then work your way up, and then keep coming back to this practice and trying the next thing and the next thing. So I'm going to take my hands behind. Good. I'm going to drag my right knee up now. So you're in a modified figure four. A modified figure four. You can take the knee towards the floor and lift. That would feel good. You can rock if that would feel good. Many people, this is where they end up staying. The next step here to come into cradle, you need to be able to sit up without your hands back there because you're going to hook your arms around that foot and knee and then cradle rock like a baby. Okay. And then when you're ready, good. We'll take that ankle back through the legs. Hands will come back and we'll take that down. We're going to take that to the other side. So I'll show that to you from more of an angle. Good. So now again, do the same thing on the other side with the other foot. So if you need to be here on the shin and just work on that, working on the knees, working on the hip, stay there. When you're ready, take it right up above the knees. Hands are going to come behind for support. They're going to drag that left leg in. And maybe you wiggle here. Maybe you wiggle here. Maybe you choose to stay here. Otherwise, test, could you release? Good. Hook a foot, hook a knee, and cradle. I do not do this one often enough, but I love it. Some of you, sometimes we do a version of this on our back. The same kind of hip opener, just a little bit different. Good. Ankle's going to come back, hands are going to come back, and we'll take that down. Good. From here, let's come onto our backs. We're going to do a little twisty here before we come into bridge and another twist. They're going to take your arms out to the side. I'm going to take my feet as wide as the mat. My belly button is going to be in nice and tight. I'm going to let those knees go all the way over to the right as deep as they can go. Just getting that nice stretch right in through here, maybe even into a little bit of the low back. Breathe through it. If there's something funny going on in the knee, the hip, or the low back, you obviously want to come out of here. And we'll come back up. Good. And when you're ready, knees are going to go all the way over to the left as far as you can go. Again, watch the back, watch the hip, watch that knee. Feels so good. And using those abs to bring the knees back into center. Good. Bring the feet back in line with the hips. We're going to bridge here. So you could do any bridge that you want. If you want to do, a full back bend, one leg bridge, all that kind of stuff, you can do that. I'm going to cue through a basic bridge. I'm going to roll my shoulders back and I'm going to press my arms in here. So scapular stability, you hear me all the time saying practice safely, practice smartly when you're doing those flows, those vinyasas, not to collapse to the shoulders. Don't collapse to the shoulders when you're doing plank, pitch the floor away. So that's all scapular mobility and strength and stability here. So this is another way you can work on that without necessarily doing a plank. So I'm going to roll my shoulders back. I'm pressing arms and shoulders into the floor. So as I press into my feet and lift my hips, I'm also pressing into the arms and the shoulders. So I'm making more of the body engaged here. And you'll notice, maybe not the first couple times, but over time, the stronger and more stable you get in that upper body as you press into your bridges, the less it happens, the less pressure you've got in that low back when you're only concentrating on pressing into the feet. Because you're more stable, then you can let go of the hip gripping, the glute gripping, but you're still going to stay up there. The shoulders will support you. This is also a very excellent prep if you have aspirations for shoulder stand, head stand. Head stand is a lot of shoulder stability. Handstand, obviously, because if you don't have that, you're going to fall on your head. And then from here, we'll lower that down. So coming out of your bridge the way that you got into it. When you're ready, bring the knees into the chest. Reach behind those knees. Find that length. Rock side to side. And we're going to find a twist again. Last twist here before Shavasana. Knees on tabletop. Arms out to the side. Basic twist. Just take it over to the right. Looking to the left. Trying to keep left shoulder grounded. Big breaths. And when you're ready, head back to center one leg at a time or use your abs to come back up here. Good. Once you're reset, knees will go to the left, right shoulder grounded, look to the right. Breathe and expand. And when you're ready, good. One leg at a time, we're using your abs to bring them both back in. Good. Bringing them back into the chest. And find your short shavasana from here. So you can let everything come long and flop open. If you have a back that does not like everything to come long and flop open, put a bend in those knees. You can bring any props here under the legs. You can be on your side. You can be on your belly. Be where you can be for a few short moments without wiggling around and fidgeting. Let's see if you can get about 10% more comfortable here. And then I will leave you here to sink in and reconnect with that intention. One more time. And taking some deep breaths. Choose stillness or taking head and neck from side to side, maybe inviting the movement of the fingers and toes. Choosing stillness or bringing knees into the chest. Choosing to keep the upper body grounded or maybe tucking the chin, lifting up, little hug. And choosing stillness, removing any props out of the way you may have used for your Shavasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you. Find that full body stretch from the fingertips to the toes, pointing and flexing through the feet, bending and stretching through the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And when you're ready, bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over to your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment. Taking all the time that you need here. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat where we normally start our yoga practice. Taking a moment here, nice tall spine, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 looking up. Exhale, stopping thumbs right in front of the forehead for good and true thoughts. To the lips for good and kind words. To the heart for open and loving hearts. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted. No gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you stay well. May you have a wonderful day, evening, week, month ahead. Namaste.